Welcome to today's episode of the podcast where we explore all things related to the brain, psychology, and mental health. I'm Sophie.
And I'm Jack. Today's episode is going to be really interesting because we're diving into a fascinating topic: how talking to yourself actually affects your brain.
That's right, Jack. Most of us have caught ourselves talking to ourselves at some point or another, but have you ever wondered what's actually going on in your brain when you do?
Exactly. Some people might think talking to yourself is a sign of madness, but in reality, it's something that can be really beneficial for your mental health and cognitive function.
That's right, Jack. Talking to yourself is a natural process. It's a kind of self-dialogue that can help with problem-solving, organizing thoughts, and even managing emotions. But what does science have to say about it? Let's get into that today. So, first of all, let's talk about what happens in your brain when you talk to yourself. When we engage in self-talk, it actually activates multiple regions of the brain.
Sophie, one of the key areas activated is the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for higher cognitive functions like decision-making, problem-solving, and regulating emotions. It helps us plan and think critically. So when you're talking yourself through a problem or figuring out a solution, that part of your brain is at work.
Exactly. And what's even more interesting is that talking to yourself can actually improve working memory. So, for instance, if you're trying to remember a list of tasks or steps for something complex, saying it out loud can reinforce your memory. This is called self-directed speech.
That makes sense. I mean, when we say something out loud, it's almost like we're teaching our brain. We have to process it, repeat it, and organize it in a way that makes sense. So, the more we do that, the better we understand and retain information.
Right. And not all self-talk is the same. There are actually different types. There's the inner dialogue that we all have, the silent self-talk, but there's also the kind of external self-talk, like when we speak out loud to ourselves.
Yeah, and the external self-talk can be especially helpful in certain situations, like when we're stressed. It can act as a kind of self-soothing mechanism. For example, if you're facing a stressful situation, saying things like, "I can do this," or "this is temporary," can help calm you down and create a sense of control.
That's such a great point. It's like giving yourself a mental pep talk. And research actually supports this. Studies show that using positive self-talk can help reduce anxiety, improve focus, and boost confidence. It's almost like we're coaching ourselves through tough times.
On the flip side, negative self-talk can be harmful. If you're constantly telling yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't do this," that can affect your mental health. It can lead to feelings of low self-worth and even contribute to depression or anxiety.
Exactly. So, it's really important to be aware of the tone and the type of language we use when talking to ourselves. Positive self-talk can promote emotional resilience, but negative self-talk can reinforce negative thought patterns and hinder our growth.
Speaking of growth, let's talk about how talking to yourself can help with learning and skill development. I've read that self-talk is essential when you're trying to learn something new. For example, athletes often talk themselves through their movements to improve their performance.
Absolutely. It's all about breaking down tasks into manageable parts. If you're learning a new skill or activity, saying the steps out loud can make them clearer in your mind. It helps you concentrate and focus, which is especially useful when you're trying to master a challenging task.
And let's not forget that self-talk can actually help us regulate our emotions. When we're feeling overwhelmed, talking ourselves through it, like saying, "It's okay to feel stressed, but I can handle it," helps us to stay grounded. It gives us a sense of agency.
That's such a good point. It's like when you're feeling nervous before a big presentation or test, and you say something like, "I've prepared for this, I've got this." It can really shift your mindset from feeling anxious to feeling confident.
Exactly. So, as much as it's about being kind to yourself, it's also about shifting your mindset. Talking to yourself can be a tool for reframing negative thoughts and creating more positive, productive thinking patterns.
So, to sum up, talking to yourself is not just something that helps you organize your thoughts or make sense of things, but it can actually boost your mental health, cognitive skills, and emotional resilience.
That's right. It's all about how we use self-talk. Whether it's to boost our confidence, manage our emotions, or help us problem solve, talking to ourselves can have a profound effect on how our brains work.
We hope that this conversation has helped you understand just how powerful self-talk can be. Next time you're talking to yourself, remember it's not weird or a sign of madness. It's your brain working in a really smart way.
And with that, we're going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks for tuning in to Mind Matters. We'll catch you next time with another exciting topic.
Until then, keep talking to yourself in a positive way.
Take care. Sophie, now let's look at some useful vocabulary from today's podcast.
Prefrontal cortex. Meaning, the front part of the brain involved in decision-making, problem-solving, and regulating emotions.
Working memory. Meaning, the system responsible for temporarily holding and manipulating information needed for tasks like learning or reasoning.
Self-directed speech. Meaning, talking to yourself out loud to help guide your thoughts or actions.
Self-soothing. Meaning, the process of calming yourself down in stressful situations, often through methods like positive self-talk.
Cognitive function. Meaning, the mental processes involved in acquiring knowledge and understanding, such as thinking, learning, and memory.
Resilience. Meaning, the ability to bounce back or recover from setbacks, stress, or adversity.
Reframing. Meaning, changing the way you think about a situation, often to make it seem more positive or manageable.
Mental pep talk. Meaning, positive, motivating self-talk used to encourage oneself through difficult situations.
Mindset. Meaning, the established set of attitudes or beliefs that influence how we perceive and respond to situations.
Negative thought patterns. Meaning, recurring negative thoughts that can affect mood, behavior, and mental health.
All right, Jack. Now that we've covered some pretty interesting points about how talking to yourself affects the brain, let's dive into some questions from today's podcast.
Yes, I'm excited. Let's get to it. Does talking to yourself help you remember things better?
Yes. Talking to yourself out loud can help you remember things. When you say something out loud, it helps your brain focus and remember it more easily.
Right. It's like repeating the information, which helps your brain store it better.
Is it weird to talk to yourself when no one is around?
Not at all. It's completely normal. Many people talk to themselves when they're thinking or working through something. It's just a way for your brain to process information.
Exactly. It's not weird. It's just a way to stay focused and organized.
Can talking to yourself reduce stress?
Yes, talking to yourself can help you feel less stressed. When you say things like, I can handle this, or it's okay, I'll be fine, it calms you down and helps you feel more in control.
It's like giving yourself a little pep talk to feel better.
How do I make sure my self-talk is positive?
It's all about being kind to yourself. Instead of saying, I can't do this, try saying, I'll try my best, or I can do this if I keep going.
Yes. The more you practice positive thinking, the easier it gets to be kind to yourself.
Can talking to myself make me better at my job or school?
Definitely. Talking to yourself can help you stay focused and organize your thoughts, which makes it easier to do well at work or school.
Saying things like, I know what to do next, helps keep you on track and improves your performance.
What if I always think negative things about myself?
If you find yourself being really hard on yourself, try to catch those thoughts. Replace I'm not good enough with I'm doing my best or I'll get better with practice.
Exactly. It takes time, but being kind and encouraging to yourself can really help.
Is talking to yourself a sign of loneliness or mental health issues?
Not at all. Talking to yourself is just a way to think things through. It's completely normal. But if you ever hear voices that aren't your own, it might be time to talk to someone for support.
Right, it's just part of how we process thoughts. It's only a concern if it's really affecting your life. How can I start using self-talk to feel better?
Start by saying positive things to yourself, like, I am capable or I can do this. Even on tough days, remind yourself that you're doing your best.
Exactly. Positive self-talk helps improve how you feel and boosts your confidence.
Well, Jack, That's all the time we have for questions today.
Yep, thanks so much to everyone for listening. If you've got more questions, ask us for in comment box. We will address them in upcoming episode. And we love hearing from you.
And remember, talking to yourself isn't weird. It's a powerful tool for improving your mental health and cognitive function. Keep practicing positive self-talk, and we'll see you in the next episode. That's it for today's Q&A. We hope this helps you understand how talking to yourself can benefit your brain and mental health.
Thanks for listening. Keep practicing positive self-talk, and we'll see you in the next episode.